Thank you, Emily. Well, big news coming out of the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets have decided Kyrie Irving won't play or practice with the team until he's vaccinated against COVID-19. Due to coronavirus restrictions in New York, the Nets players must have had at least one jab to be allowed to play their home games. Irving was cleared to train at their home facility as it's considered a private building, and he is eligible for some away games. But the Nets want Irving fully involved, so until he gets the jab or rules in New York change, he isn't allowed to take part in any team activities. So for more on this, we're now joined by NBA broadcaster Brandon Robinson in Washington. Brandon, thank you for joining us. Can I just first get your reaction to this decision?
Thank you for having me. I wasn't really surprised with everything going on in New York City, as well as just the Nets and their quest to potentially win a championship. Those that I've spoke with simply feel as though they want to be on one accord. And Kyrie Irving has not been vaccinated, having one shot or both. And they don't really want a part-time player. Their GM, Sean Marks, issuing a statement today, and here we are now.
Do you think it's fair for the Nets to take this stance?
It's their prerogative from my perspective. 95% of the NBA is vaccinated, as reported by multiple outlets. So, the Nets are moving in this way. It's a week before the season begins, and their big three of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, are expected to make it to the big dance in the championship. So I wasn't really surprised. It's their prerogative. It's a business, and some feel as though he needs to conform to that.
And how do you expect Kyrie will react to this decision? Do you think this is going to force him to get the jab, or do you think he'll stand firm?
Well, I've covered Kyrie since 2013 when he was a member of the Cavaliers. I have a lot of mutual friends and family, and we know each other as well. So knowing Kyrie and the type of person he is, particularly as it relates to not necessarily subscribing to groupthink and moving to the beat of his own drum and really analyzing things and not jumping to something just because everybody else is doing it. My gut says no. But I also think that what happens with Mayor de Blasio, as well as Kyrie and the Nets and everything going on with the mandates could dictate a change. So from my perspective, in covering Kyrie and knowing the type of person he is, and I say no.
So if you think he might not get this jab, where does that leave his future at the Nets? Do you think a possible trade in the future? There has been talk of that.
Well, I think when you look at Kyrie Irving's trade value, arguably one of the best handlers of the basketball in the NBA. But if he can't play because of various mandates, even traveling or what have you, it leaves his trade value kind of obsolete. So I think kind of similarly to Ben Simmons, who's now returning to Philadelphia after sitting out training camp, if you play, your value can go up. But Kyrie's situation is a lot different. I think it's a matter of whether he gets the vaccination or not. And like I said, knowing him, I don't see it happening.
And just quickly, finally, just moving away from Kyrie, the season starts next week. We can't let you go without getting your tip. Who's going to win the championship?
I like the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh. Easy. And I'll just go back to Kyrie just very quickly. How much of a blow will that be to the Nets if he doesn't get this jab, like to their chances of the championship? Is this going to, leave them in a lot of trouble?
Roster construction. No, the roster construction is built with the three-headed monster of Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. Gives them a chance to go to the championship. They have some added pieces that they added over the summer. I really like their young roster, but I don't like their chances without Kyrie Irving on the basketball court. 1 in a million talent, and here we are.
Well, it's fascinating, this story. This one is no doubt going to roll on. Thank you so much for joining us, Brandon. Emily, that is all your sport from me. I'll have more a little bit later.
Great interview. Thank you very much, Gemma, and welcome to Doha.
Thank you.